Now, my question too, what they can do is, since you say you prefer one mid card championship, not two, because you will narrow it down to one. What could happen is it's a possibility. What if they just they could very well put the secondary title on NXT only. What if they did a TV title on NXT only? Since Intercontinental will be for the main roster. What if they only had an NXT version of a TV title? Since NXT is on CW this fall, it could be the CW title and just have that for the women's. That could help them too. That could also showcase their talent and even give them a bigger push to get to the main roster sooner than later.
I agree with that, but if you do that, then you put more time. Now you kind of go into what AEW is doing. Remember when AEW just had everybody with a fucking championship belt, just everybody. Because remember, if you make a mid card title for the big brand, you want to cross stack, you want to cross brand that title. So that title get defended in NXT anyway. So now you have and
Okay,
you're yeah, you're
yeah.
likable to have an NXT show where the NXT mid card title is getting defended, the WWE the main brand's mid card title is getting like, so it caused that excessiveness. It caused that
Well,
excess.
or maybe call it a women's North American Championship because the men's do have on NXT a men's mid card title with the North American Championship. Maybe if not a TV title named, maybe the women's North American Championship because I think that'll work for NXT. But I know I see what you're saying with the whole you want to cross branded. It's kind of like it could work, but it won't. It'll blow it up in their face later. So I
Yeah,
see
because
what
there'd
you're
be too
saying.
many people with a belt. It'd be too many people now with a title. So it's not now. It's like the titles really don't mean nothing. You'll devalue the actual title. You get what I'm saying? You're kind of because you only reason why the men has the North American title is because that's not a cross brand title. You know what I mean? That's not a cross brand title. That is the NXT. That's an NXT exclusively brand title. They don't defend that on the main roster. They don't. You know what I
But
mean?
what
They
if
don't.
they
They
did?
don't defend that on the main roster.
What about the women's North American Championship? Would you be open to them having that for their own brand? Since you said the men's is only fit on NXT, what if the women's had one?
I think that'll work. That'll work. That'll work. But now, with that said, if you do that, then you leave the mains brand, the main rosters, mid card title. You leave that off. You don't cross brand that now. Now that,
Exactly.
now,
You don't have
oh, yeah,
to.
yeah, or you just leave it to SmackDown and Raw. No NXT.
Yeah,
Just SmackDown and Raw.
yeah,
So that it's still cross branded, but it's not through all three brands. That'll work.
mm-mm. Yeah. Because think about it. Um, we have NXT, right? What if this happened? We have NXT, but we also I know it's not really popular. What if it showed up on NXT Level Up, which is on Friday nights? So maybe that title could be defended on that brand NXT Level Up. Not every night, just every here and there. That could
Mhm.
work too.
That'll work.
Just a thought. That's a thought.
That's
But the
definitely.
fact that the fact Bailey even is highlights she talked about this, it sounds like it's going to happen. That she's talking about it. It just maybe she can't speak too much on it right now, you know, because they doing some stuff they can't allow to speak on it, outside of WWE. It's basically the old words. What happens here stays here right now. You can't broadcasting that now until it happens. Let's keep this in house. We have plans, but you can't release those plans. Keep it in house for now. Maybe they are going to do a secondary women's championship. Bailey did talk about it. Remember, Bailey is behind her and Sasha Banks is behind the women's tag team titles that we have now. Maybe they are working towards it now. Maybe they do have something in the works. We just don't know about it just yet.
It's a fact. It's a fact. The year is new. The year has just started. We only 2 months in. Who knows what they have planned? You know what I mean? You got to remember the Rock is now on board. He has a daughter who's in wrestling now. So, you know what I mean? Man, listen, anything's possible, man. Anything's possible. And it's all going to lead to more revenue, man. it's all gonna lead to more revenue. You think if they don't make a females North American title, that's not gonna sell out? That title gonna sell. I
It's
mean,
definitely.
now they can put the Glow title back out because now that they got Naomi back,
Mhm.
and now it's just money. It's just all money.
Yeah, that's why Sasha Banks been lingering around because she really wants to come back to WWE. The AEW ain't gonna work out, or if they even want her for that matter, that's not gonna work. It's best for to come back. This is where you gained your name, your popularity, your fame through WWE. You
Hmm.
know, don't forget where you came from, Sasha Banks. But I think that'll work though. I think the secondary women's title will work. Um, they gave out a tournament for, like we said before. They got a Queen of the Ring. Bring that back in the May Young tournament. Bring those
Hmm.
back.
Hmm.
Yeah, that could happen.
Yeah, that
You know,
Queen of
yeah,
the Ring tournament is definitely take my money. And they
yeah,
could make that they can make that its own woman's branded pay-per-view.
yep, definitely. I'm very impressed with women's wrestling. I was against the whole initially the Money in the Bank, but I think it's going to get better now. Now we're talking about these titles. Now we see what the roster and what direction WWE's going. I think the women's Money Bank is going to be better now because I was very, very, very vocal on how I was displeased of how that was being ran for the women's division with the Money in the Bank, and I think they're going to finally run it right this time. So
Yeah, yeah, that was disturbing. I hate the way they do the women with the Money in the Bank. Even though
anybody,
I'm a huge
hmm?
proponent that they shouldn't be putting these women in Hell in a Cell, bro. They shouldn't
No,
put the Hell in a Cell. That should be nixed out, bro. That should be nixed out, bro. I don't mind putting them in a cage match, but a Hell in a
even
Cell.
TLC, even TLC needs to be limited. I think that goes on a little bit too much. I mean, not now, but I think that was going on too much because I think, I mean, we see it now with Cora Jade. They have these ACLs, Liv
Mm-hmm.
Morgan injury, Charlotte Flair's out with an injury. I
Tegan
mean,
Knox can't get right.
yes, exactly, and I think that's why, you know, because other promotions like AEW are doing those crazy matches, and the proper improper conditioning training can lead to a major injury, short term or long term, whatever the case may be. But I think a secondary title is definitely something that needs to be done sooner than later. And I would love to see what they're going to do back with it. And of course, bring back WWE Evolution, All Women's Pay Per View, as well as the Queen of Ring tournament and the May Young tournament. All that stuff needs to be brought back. And we could very well it could very well be something very interesting um, for that. So, yes, they need to create a women's mid card championship. Do it sooner than later. We got all the men's titles. We just had the world title. They rechristened the women's world titles. They got the tag team titles that merged with the NXT women's tag team titles. And I think the only thing they need to do is undispute the men's tag team belts. But other than that, all the titles are pretty much solid. Roman, he got one single title, and I think he's going to lose at WrestleMania to Cody now. I think that should be the next step after all of that is get a women's mid card championship. And if you can, add an NXT version too, do something. Because I see NWA and AEW. It ain't just AEW that has a TV title. NWA has one too, and that's small to AEW. So if they should do it, I don't see why WWE shouldn't do it. So I think it's only fair to the fans we do that. So, but you got anything else you want to add with the mid card titles? This is a very good topic.
Nah, man, I think we covered all angles. Um, they got our vote. They got my vote.
Definitely got my vote. Um, like I said, I would definitely, we here at the TBS Turnbuckle Station. Um, and I would definitely clip this for you guys. We have Monday Night Raw for Monday, and it's definitely something that we have here on TBS, always Turnbuckle Station, and I think this is something that should be finally happening. I think it's going to happen. If not this year, definitely next year. but definitely something that's going to happen. And that is all we have regarding Wrestling Week News, Wrestling News Week. When will WWE add a secondary women's title? Should they create a women's mid-card championship? Thank you all for coming out on this great morning. You know, soon 2 videos will pop up for the red carpet ring on YouTube. The first video will be top 3 ranked world heavyweight champions in WWE. Second video is when he turned heel. Mr. Goodbread, thank you for coming out. Until then, it is OUT.